and I'll call the case. This is CR 2024-3277, State of Idaho versus Maxie Riddle, who is here today with Counsel Stavinsky, and the state is represented by Mr. Hurlburt. We're calendared for sentencing today, and the court understands that this will proceed. I inquired as to whether there would be any impact statements, and Mr. Hurlburt suggested that there would. And so, Mr. Hurlburt, I'll invite that to take place at this time. Are there any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. So let me turn, I appreciate that. I took notes, and I'll certainly have comments associated with what we all just heard. Let me turn to the defendant for just a moment and confirm that you've reviewed the pre-sentence report.
No, yes, I did, Your Honor.
And as you went through that, was there anything that you saw that needed any sort of clarification or correction?
No, Your Honor.
May I rely upon the contents of this report then for sentencing?
Yes.
Are there going to be any witnesses called by the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, just argument?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Then let's turn now back to Mr. Hurlburt to make the state sentencing argument, and then we'll turn to the defense. And then Mr. Riddle, if you're interested, I'll provide you an opportunity to speak as well.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I think the victim put it very well when she said that Mr. Riddle is a predator. His behavior has certainly demonstrated that, especially since there's been more than one victim that has come into his sort of purview and fallen under his influence. Just a couple of things from the pre-sentence investigation report that I'm sure Your Honor has reviewed, but he says, I'm a person that people come to for help, and that's what I do. And that's exactly what he did in these cases, Your Honor. He was a caregiver for the victim in this case and then took advantage of her. And similarly, in the case in Bingham County, was another person that was impressionable, young, and vulnerable, and he took advantage of her as well. There is a note in here that he's been in trouble 3 times in the jail for various things, but mentions that, again, he's not a troublemaker, and he's just trying to help people. So it seems to be more about him than anyone else. During the psychosexual evaluation, I just would like the court to note that he is high risk based on the number of victims, despite the LSI score being only 21. The recommendations, and I know that other defense counsel have had issues with Officer Julie Morrison and her PSIs in the past, but she does mention that Mr. Riddle has a high regard for himself, doesn't seem to have any empathy for his victims at all, talks mostly about himself during the pre-sentence investigation and how he's embarrassed and ashamed, but doesn't express any remorse for what he's done to these victims and how what he's done is going to impact their lives. Talked about how he abused his position, manipulated them to engage in sexual activity. And I know, Your Honor, this is not by any means confirmed, but it does sound like there's the potential for other victims out there that the state doesn't know about. We would ask that you impose the sentence contemplated in the plea agreement of 9 years fixed, followed by, I can't remember what the indeterminate was, 16, I believe, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. With restitution to be held open.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, if we could have 90 days in that case. And the plea agreement does contemplate the sentence to run concurrent with Bingham County.
Thank you. And Mr. Stavinsky, as you began, you could share with the court this state of the proceedings in Bingham County.
Judge, so I don't think he's been sentenced on that yet. I think once he's done here, he'll be transported over there to be sentenced.
Very good. Thank you. And I'll now take your sentencing recommendation.
Thank you, Judge. So yeah, so it's October 1st for his Bingham County case. That's set for sentencing.
I'm sorry.
October 1st is set for sentencing. Thank you, Judge. So really, once I was assigned this case, I met with Mr. Riddle. We kind of discussed the elements of about the crimes here and the evidentiary issues and looked to everything they had pending. And really, he did want to take responsibility for his actions. And the most effective way to do this was to do a mediation. And I'm glad that Bingham County was able to join in that mediation as well. We did invite Bonneville County, but from what I understand, I'm not sure if they're gonna file anything. Whatever cases is pending, if it is going to be filed, it will go through the Attorney General's office. So, but we did invite all the stakeholders to the table because Mr. Riddle wanted to resolve all the cases, to not put any of the victims here to any kind of trial. That he wanted to take responsibility. And going into this, all the parties had back of our heads and basically the sentencing objectives. And as outlined in Idaho statute and the two-heel case. And protection of society will be the most important one. And how can we protect society? Well, incarceration is one way, but also all of these objectives are kind of intertwined because with incarceration, you have protection of society, but also with Mr. Riddle taking responsibility, recognizing what he had done was illegal, and there's no excuse for that, and he's not trying to minimize any of that. He fully understands that he has to serve a lengthy sentence, but he will also be undergoing treatment while in custody, and that's to make sure that he is rehabilitated, and that to make sure that nothing of this ever happens again. So basically, looking at all the objectives that the Court of Appeals Court outlined in two-heel case and in the Idaho statute, we believe that this sentence kind of addresses all of those objectives, because you also have a serious punishment of 9 years fixed, plus 16 years indeterminate. Now, what does it mean? It means that he may qualify to go before the parole after 9 years while being in custody. It's not an automatic, there's not a guarantee that he's going to be, the parole commission is going to allow him to be released. So really, the total unified sentence is 25 years. Mr. Riddle realizes that he's going to have to work really hard to prove to himself and to the IDOC, to the society, the state, that he's capable of being rehabilitated and that he's not a danger to society. I think this kind of sentence also deters not just Mr. Riddle, but anybody else who is even thinking about doing something like this. That this is taken seriously by the state and by the courts, and that you pay with your freedom if you ever even think of if you do anything like this, and face the courts. Now there's always these interpretations kind of with a PSI. The reality is he is taking responsibility because he pled guilty to the charge. There's nothing more that shows somebody taking responsibility is pleading guilty. The reason maybe the PSI kind of looks and kind of thinks that he is kind of fixated on himself, well, it's because the PSI process, all the questions are about, pretty much most of the questions are about the defendant. And when defendants are answering questions, they're answering questions about themselves. Doesn't take it from the fact that he is remorseful, doesn't take from the fact that he is, he wants to make sure nothing like this ever happens again. He's participated in a psychosexual process. He has been upfront about all of his issues. He's an open book. So I think the sentence as outlined also takes all of these things into, the proposed sentence takes all of these elements and to really, we believe that this is gonna serve the objectives of the court, and will also give Mr. Riddle a chance to look forward to eventually hopefully convince the parole commission to be released and go back to his family. Yeah. He has letters of support, he's got friends and family who love him, and there is that, rehabilitation is only possible if somebody has some kind of hope at the end of the day to be able to show the society that he is rehabilitated. And he's definitely, again, he's definitely, obviously, he's remorseful and takes what's happening here today very seriously. He's been in custody for about 18 months already, and this is significant as well. It's part of the punishment, and he understands that he's going to have to serve the remainder of or whatever the court imposes on him. But we're asking the court to follow this plea agreement and impose a sentence as outlined in our plea agreement. Was 9 fixed, 16 indeterminate. And he is ready, willing, and able, once he goes into custody, to complete any kind of treatment. And going forward, I think, with him taking this responsibility to only show that he's capable of being rehabilitated eventually after he serves his punishment. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you, counsel. Mr. Hurlbert, do you have any rebuttal comment?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sir, are you interested in making a statement?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
All right, you may do so.
Excuse me if I stumble or what have you, but I am Maxie Riddle, the defendant in this case. I would like to vouch for the court about the harm I caused.
Sir,
Yes.
I just need the recorder and others in the courtroom to hear you, so
So
you can raise your
little
voice.
louder.
Yeah, just a little
Yeah,
louder.
I will get there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I am Maxie Riddle, the defendant in this case. I would like to talk to the court for the harm I caused. Sorry for the deep impact that I've made on your life every day. I apologize for taking advantage of the trust I had with you. I am very sorry for my behavior and my actions. You are not deserving of this. I'm sorry for the pain and suffering you go through each day. I am to blame for all of this. Not in any way am I blaming you or placing responsibility on you. I understand that you could not consent due to being underage. I'm sorry I betrayed the trust of my former employer and the parents of the victims. I understand I need punishment. While I'll be incarcerated, and I will take all opportunities and all sex offender treatment I hope the Department of Corrections provides. I believe the right and positive attitude will help me qualify for parole and become a productive person back in society. I know rebuilding trust will take time if it's possible at all. Honorable Judge Watkins, I understand you have an important responsibility to make the best decision you can. Whatever sentence you impose, I'll accept it and continue to be a better person. Thank you for allowing me to speak and concerning my words.
Thank you, sir. Are you fully satisfied with the representation of your counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
And counsel, is there any legal reason why the court should not proceed?
No, Your Honor.
All right, well, thank you. I have I guess just a couple of questions. Your counsel referenced family and support, and I'm interested in, is there anyone here in the courtroom?
Yes, my fiance and my father in the back.
Okay. Where are they at?
In the very
Those two
back.
individuals. And then I watched the victim of this case return to her seat. She's with someone as well. And behind I can't see in the poll, is that the state's victim coordinator? Okay, and then a loved one by your side as well, ma'am? Thank you. All right, thank you. All right, well, let me begin this way. I'm going to state the objectives that this court has, and then I'm going to turn my comments to the notes and the impressions that I had in listening to all that have spoken, okay? So, sir, the court has the responsibility of protecting the community. That's the primary objective that this court has, and I want you to know and others that I will not lose sight of that. And there are a number of things that I can rely upon to help me draw a conclusion about protecting the community. The pre-sentence investigation report is one of those. The psychosexual evaluation is another. To the extent that you cooperated, I appreciate that. That's helpful to me, and that will follow you into the department's care. I need to deter you from committing other offenses, and I do that by evaluating this offense and other offenses. I need to punish you for the wrongdoing, which began upon the charge in custody, and this court has interest in rehabilitation, which I'll have comments about in just a moment. So those are the factors that drive the court's decision. They're all important. I want to begin by speaking not just regarding the victim of this case, and I know your name, ma'am. I'm not going to share it to further protect you, but I speak to you directly and want to tell you that this court is moved by your words. You presented them with great poise and great courage. You spoke loudly, and the court heard you. I want you to know that others besides yourself should in fact benefit from your decision to come to court today, take courage, and deliver your remarks. I watched intently to you as you were delivering your message. I looked over at the defendant and wanted to see his reaction to what you were saying. I believe you had an impact upon him as well. You spoke of the scars that exist and the battles that you have been fighting. And yet, as you said in your own words, you are still here and still standing. I can't help but think about an iceberg that while you're here displaying many of the difficulties that this offense has had upon you in your life, I accept that there are many things that are unseen that will endure, and in large part those battles will continue. And I hope that you'll obtain the help that you need to heal from this harm. And when you're discouraged and you're suffering from those things that this individual caused you, just remind yourself of your courage in coming to court today and speaking directly in the presence of the offender and doing it in an open courtroom and in the court's presence. Sir, the issues that you have created in this individual include trust, the ability for her to trust in others, male adults, in other relationships. That's disrupted for a significant amount of time and in a significant way. The trauma, the depression, the guilt, all of these things, I want you to pause and consider, because you created this. And the offense was exploitive. It's an aggravating factor and circumstance that you preyed upon an individual who in foster care would have been more vulnerable and in an imbalanced relationship way. And it's an aggravating consideration that the court has. The very, most vulnerable of individuals. It's a tender young age of maturing, and all for your gratification. I'm pleased that you made a statement. I accept that you have demonstrated remorse, and it's one of those experiences for anyone participating in today's proceedings that you're left with just simply a pit in your stomach and a knot in your throat on the deep impact that and harm that this type of offense has upon an individual, and the ripple effect that that has on others and long into the future. I want to temper much of what I would say, however, to return to the victim and give some words of encouragement that there is the hope that this court has that you can find a bright future. And I think today, because of the defendant's plea and your willingness to plead guilty, to stand and raise your hand and say, I did this and I caused this harm, is the beginning step for you and the beginning step for her. And I hope the same occurs in other jurisdictions. You will have a significant amount of time to work on yourself and be a better person. You have work ahead of you, and I hope you see it as work, because what occurred is criminal, it is wrong, it's destructive, and it needs to have a consequence. I recognize that there are points of mitigation, the first being your plea, but sir, there's a great deal of aggravation in this case. I respect the negotiation and the reasons why the parties come to this court jointly, asking for a particular outcome. As you know, I'm not engaged in those conversations, but it's left to the wisdom and the experience of competent counsel who handle these types of matters, and an experienced mediator as well. I will meet the parties partway, but not entirely. And as such, after I've considered the 4 objectives of criminal punishment, this court, upon review of all of the materials, including the prior criminal history, the psychosexual evaluations, I will sentence the defendant on the count that I am responsible for to 9 years fixed, with an indeterminate period of 25 years that results in a unified sentence of 34 years. You'll be into your mid-70s before you are eligible to be free from the kinds of protections that I believe this court must impose upon you. There's a lot of work in between now and then. I hope you are productive in that time. The court will impose a $5,000 compensatory fine and a $15,000 criminal fine. The court will preserve the no contact order through the court's full jurisdiction of the case. Court costs and the Victims Relief Fund will be standard, and the court will hold open a reasonable time, recognizing there will certainly be counseling costs associated with this wrongdoing. Do you have any questions for the court, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you have any for me?
No, Your Honor.
You have the right to appeal this judgment within 42 days. Post-conviction relief expires a year after that, and a Rule 35 in 120 days. So good luck to all. Thank you for those here to support your loved ones. And this court will take a short recess when we return for our next final 2 sentences.
All rise.